Good evening, IL family, and welcome back to the Monday night broadcast here where we talk about positive living via simple truths. I pray it's been a good week for everybody and that you had a wonderful weekend. And so now here we are at the start of the week. So I pray it's been a good day, but we're going to get right into our discussion. If you've been staying up on the broadcast for the last couple of weeks, I've been really talking about things to get us started, to get us motivated through the year. It's things for us to keep in mind. The first week I talked about us getting started and really emphasize about not boxing God in on this year and allowing God to come into your life and just really, I use this term to blow your mind in the sense of like when God does something that wows you to the point that you didn't even, this was, it's like an experience that you've never had with God. And then the second week I talked about being your authentic self. And so tonight I want to talk about a little bit about something because I've been, talking with people over the weekends. I always do. And a lot of things that I have been listening to is that, people through various things. They go through seasons, they go through hardships, they go through stress and all of that. And one thing that came to mind on tonight is the encouragement for us to operate beyond emotion or circumstance. That's what the topic is, to operate beyond that emotion or that circumstance. And the reason why this is going to be so key this year for those of you who have grabbed a hold of the vision that God has given you for your lives, for those of you who have grabbed a hold and plan to take, go to the next level in your life, whatever that looks like. The reason why this is so key is because things are going to happen and life is going to happen. And even though we are planning for absolute success this year, we don't know what life is going to throw at us that we are not planning for. And so if we allow emotions, if we allow circumstances to get in the way, it will throw us completely off course. I have seen people, in aspects of their life, they're going so hard for one aspect of their life that it's like this component of your life is like 10%, but you're forgetting the whole other 90% of your life because you're so focused in. And this here is a balancing act, you all. This is exactly what this is. It's an imbalancing act in life. While you're going for what it is that God has you to have, you've got to have focus, but at the same time, you've got to have balance because you can't let everything else fall by the wayside and you can't let everything that life throws at you get you off track in this year. And so when I looked up the word emotion, it says that it is a natural, instinctive state of mind deriving from circumstance or mood. So if you think about your emotions, it is what gets to you. Have you ever been going about like you got up, you had a great day, you had a great morning, you got up with a positive outlook, and maybe when you got to work, maybe when you got in traffic, maybe when you saw your spouse or something, it just seemed like life just started coming at you all of a sudden. And you're like, I was doing so great. I was in a great mood, I had this in the bag. Well, when that happens, you cannot allow the emotion that comes along with that throw you off course. Today, I got up and I was off today, and I got up and I journaled and I prayed and I read my word and I, did a few to-dos and I was good. But it seems like the minute that I walked out the door, life started happening. I started getting a message about this, and it was just like a felt like a real roller coaster getting ready to happen. But I paused and I grounded myself and I was like, no, it's been a great day and it's going to be a good rest of the day. It doesn't matter what you throw at me. It's going to be a good rest of the day. And so that's the attitude that we got to have, because sometimes things are going to come in your day and in your life. And I know you've got a positive attitude. I know you got a positive outlook, and I know you are determined to get some things done in this 2018, but you cannot allow the mood or the emotions or the things that come, sometimes the depressive state, a lot of us don't recognize it, but when we go through things in life, it's like depression, that dark cloud that you feel come over yourself. And sometimes it sends some of us over to eat our comfort foods, or some of us it sends into a corner and we just want to do our own thing. You got to guard against those things this year. And so you cannot allow the emotions. And then I looked up the word circumstance, and that word says a condition, detail, part, or attribute with respect to the place or manner. When I thought about circumstance, the very word that came to me was that this is not permanent. This is not permanent. A circumstance is not permanent. It is just a circumstance. It is just what is happening right now. It is not the end of the world. No matter how bad it may seem, this day will pass and you will get to another day that's filled with brand new mercies. And so you've got to look at life like that. You've got to look at it to the point where it's like, it's just a circumstance. And so I can't hold on to that. And so some of the things, I thought about a couple of things to safeguard us this year so that that doesn't happen. Some things that I've done in my own life this year. One of the key components is accountability. Get in a circle where you have accountability in the area that you are operating in and that you're working in. Why will this be beneficial to you? Because when you have those rough days and you still have to check in with that group or with that team or with that person, then you don't, the worst thing in the world, accountability partner is not going to let you keep saying, okay, I didn't do what it was I was supposed to do. They're going to encourage you, but they're going to stay on you to do what it is that you need to do. If you're having a rough day and you're down in the dumps, the right accountability partner is going to pull you up and say, okay, I know it's a rough day. I know it's a hard season, but we're going to pray and we're going to get through this and we're going to keep going. So that's one of the ways that I want you to try to safeguard yourself this year. And another thing is to get an attitude of perseverance. I want you to see December, but yet not be in December. I want you to see getting down to December 31st and being able to look back over the year and say, you know what? I did some things. I set my mind to it. I got some things accomplished. And so next year I can start some new goals. Next year I can work on something different. It's called perseverance, because for some of us, even though we are just in the third week of the year, some of us have already gotten off course since January 1, and we need to jump right back on the horse. We need to get right back in the wagon and say that I can do this. So I just want to encourage us all tonight not to let our emotions and not to let our circumstances keep us from operating. Operating, it requires action. It's a daily thing, just like renewing your mind. It is a daily thing. It is a daily action. It is one step every day towards the end of your goal, but you have to have an attitude of perseverance, and we have to be at a place where we have no excuses. I've written a little work called the 5-Day No Excuse Challenge, which you can find on my website at www.inclinationlife.com or on Amazon, but it's a 5-day challenge to basically find out the areas that we're making excuses and then to actually overcome them. And as I close tonight, the one area that I said, if we have to have the model, Jesus Christ is always our model. I can go to him with in anything. But what I love about our Heavenly Father and who we serve is that he is consistent. He is consistent. He is consistent. He does not waver. Who he says he is, that is who he is. And that is who we are striving to be. So if we're going to model anybody in this year, we always are modeling Christ. And I want you to get that attitude of consistency no matter the circumstance. No matter the circumstance, no matter what Jesus faced, he stayed consistent. He stayed true to his purpose. He stayed true to the plan. He stayed true to why he came. And that is how the attitude, that is one of the attributes that we need to take a hold of and to follow. We have to follow him, and we have to be consistent in what we're doing. We cannot allow every little boat and every little shift. We've got to get grounded. And I'm talking about in a spiritual point where we are grounded and we're not shaking and we're not moving and we're planted like that tree. If we are going to do some things this year, that is the attitude that we have to have. So I pray this has been encouraging to you on tonight. I pray it was just what you needed. Believe me, I'm talking to myself, but we've got to be able to operate in all things in this year. So I love you guys. I'll talk to you next week, probably with another point to start us off in our year. And then we'll get into some other discussions when we get into February. All right. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you'll tune back in next week. Definitely comment. I have a few more slots open in the IL Institute if you'd like to join the program, which I am basically doing some beta testing in for an entire year. So no loss on your part, no cost to you, but it's really geared towards people that are wanting to do some things in 2018. So the program is geared towards that. So if you'd like to do that, look for it on Facebook. Just all you have to do is request it, and I'll look over things and then accept your invite and you're in. All right, take care. Good night.